Okay, gamers, I've been seeing a lot of traction from this video. Warframe is a wake-up call by Legendary Drops, released 9 months ago. Recently though, it's been popping into my For You pages, into my home pages on YouTube. More specifically, the reactions of new players about the video. And I haven't really watched it yet, but I'm seeing so much of it that I kind of want to check it out before watching the other people's reaction. So I was like, okay, might as well make it a reaction video since we have that series ongoing on YouTube. So let's just watch this. I have 5,000 hours in the game, so my opinion might be different from the other people reacting to this video. I mean, at least it's gonna be unique, right? uh, I started playing back in PoE. I think, yeah, when PoE released, the era where Skill Up, Danny O'Dwyer from NoClip, those types of content was prevalent, and I've watched a lot of reviews about Warframe. So this isn't really what you call it, my first time watching review content from the game, so some of the history might be familiar with me. So let's just watch this.
Look, the phrase is free to play.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back.
Whether by themselves or in Warframe is a wake-up call. Look, the phrase is free to play and live service, whether by themselves or in combination with one another, don't fill players with a lot of confidence, and they shouldn't, because they become synonymous with games and studios that are under-delivering on a product and service while asking for the absolute most from their audience.
Okay, that's kind of true, but it kind of isn't as well. I don't know. I'm talking about free to play games in that large of a net isn't really fair to some of the other free to play games that are doing well. Are there other free to play games that are doing well? I kind of want to say some of the gacha games, but it's gacha. I mean, it's not really, the cream of the crop. There isn't really that good free to play games out there, huh? You know what? That might be true. Are there other MMO type games that are doing as well as Warframe this far into its life cycle? Not really, no.
More time, more engagement, more money, extracting as much as they possibly can while putting in the least amount of effort. Warframe is the most well-known yet under-discussed and underappreciated games in all of gaming. It's
5 years ago, I'll probably agree to this statement, but recently, Warframe has been popping off, especially to the Destiny 2 community for some reason. A lot of people have been migrating from that game to Warframe, which is I'm not mad about that. That's more people to play with.
often referred to as the internet's best kept secret.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I 100% agree to that. The spoiler team in Warframe, nobody wants to spoil shit. Like I can't understand. I cannot understand how people are still not spoiled by the second dream. It's been what, 10 years now since it released, right? I mean, at least 10 years. Because the Sacrifice was released in 2019. That's 6 years ago, and that's a lot of lore. And bro,
And I'm tired of it being a secret. For all intents and purposes, Warframe is the blueprint by which many of these free-to-play games and live service games should be following, but they're not. It's a game that is tirelessly supported by its developer and by its community in a way that I don't even think any other game can even
tired is a
replicate.
word. I feel like some of the
Hear about some of
DE members are over. Okay, I might be spouting nonsense here, but with the amount of content they're releasing, that's gotta have some crunch, no? That's gotta have some crunch time involved. Free labor. I'm not sure. It's just too good to be true. It's just too good to be true, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
this stuff, it's going to blow your mind. Free-to-play and live service is supposed to be a way for developers to be able to deliver a smaller product and grow it over time. Be able to deliver a valuable
That's one thing I love
valuable
about
product and grow it while the community
live
supports
service
it.
games.
And that's the kind of game that Warframe is. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Luckily, today's sponsor is actually the game that inspired Warframe.
Raid Shadow Legends. Inspired by Warframe. Inspired Warframe. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I've played World of Tanks.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to feel about this. Maybe the free to play aspect, but other than that, there's a disparity in the content, if you know what I mean. There, it's
multiple times over
how
the
is the
years with
free
my
to
friends,
play
and this is an
monetization
World of Tanks is
aspect
one
of
the
World of
longest running
Tanks?
free-to-play games on the market and has been actively supported for over a decade now.
Really?
Over
A
100 million
decade?
registered users.
No
Hundreds of
shot.
tanks and tons of customization.
I feel like
Fit
the
up
World of
graphics,
Tanks thing.
incredible
Oh right,
sound
you know what?
design, and
It
hundreds of
might be a
hours of
decade
gameplay.
now.
The extensive arsenal includes
Fuck,
tank
man,
destroyers,
we're getting old.
artillery, light, medium, and heavy tanks, providing you with a wide range of options for different combat strategies.
Okay, can we skip this? I mean, sure, get your bag, but goddamn, I don't want to see tanks. We have an invite code as well. That's that's crazy. Okay.
For 10 battles each. Just use the link in the description below to get started. So what is Warframe? It's a looter shooter, live service
What is Warframe? That's a loaded gun of a question, huh?
MMO with a third-person perspective. You play as a Warframe, you're dashing through levels, taking down enemies, farming up materials, currency, and other items so that you can continue to build more weapons and more Warframes to use. Warframes vary in their looks and abilities. Some of them play like a ninja, others like a battering ram or even a wizard. There's even a frame that lets you create your own music so that you can buff other players.
Octavia.
You have pets, ships, clans, PvP, personal
There's so
housing,
much.
boss fights, a roguelike,
Holy fuck.
fighting game, open worlds.
Oh
and
my
more.
god. When you enumerate it like that, when you list it like that, the game is so expansive.
It
It's
is
actually,
consistently stated
even me, I've been playing for so long, hearing that shit is very scary. If you're a new player, I don't know how to even feel about that anymore. That's
in the top 20 of the most played games
That's
on Steam
insane.
for over a decade now. And in
for a decade now, really. Most top 10 most played for that's an achievement, because most of the time games like these live service games, specifically PvE live service games, don't even survive 2 years, 3 years. I have a lot of games, free to play games specifically, on my Steam library that died within its first year because they were PvE. So one of the most surprising thing about me is that Warframe is still being supported this much just because of its player base. But the PvE aspect, there's no PvP, no nothing, because PvP is such an easy aspect of a game to support, right? Look at CSGO. Like, before Valorant, how many updates did it release? I mean, I feel like there's not really much, right?
doing that, there is something
But
inherently
PvE,
special
there
here.
you need to
If we look at
keep
the
your
game's player base on
audience
Steam,
engaged.
While it's not burning the world down with insane peaks, it's maintained its player base consistently since 2013, and it's only continued to grow.
I mean, look at that.
So how has
That's
Warframe
good.
maintained that success? Why is nobody talking about it?
I mean, look at BDO. BDO has been out for about 10 years now, too. 10, 12 years. They have 1/10 of the player base on Steam. And to be fair, okay, maybe they play their own standalone client. Warframe has their own standalone client too, man. I'm sure that there's probably a lot more players playing Warframe in the client than it is on Steam. And you can't forget, since it's crossplay, there are people playing on Xbox, PS4, PS5. There's probably a lot more people playing on iOS too. When is Android coming out? DE, please, man. I want to shit in my toilet while using Rhino. Right now, actually. Yesterday, actually.
About it. And unlike many other live service games, why aren't we hearing people complaining about it or how it mistreats its players? Well, to answer that, we need to...
Oh, there is complaining going on. I mean, recently, the reworks for Valkyr has been stirring up a lot of controversy. The slam changes as well. I mean, there are controversies going on. The difference is people are very respectful about their opinions since they all love the game. So it isn't really like brigading or harassing. It's I mean, sure, there are still people harassing and brigading, but there's not a lot of people doing that, because at the end of the day they still love the game no matter the changes. That's the difference compared to like some of the other controversies that you hear about in games.
To understand the game's history and that of its creators. Now you may recognize the name
Wait a
Digital
minute,
Extremes.
this is a
Now, through
30-minute
early
game
work on Unreal
video?
Tournament in
Fuck
partnership
me,
with Epic
bro.
Games, they played a pivotal role in shaping the landscape of multiplayer first-person shooters. They were among the first to popularize key features like online multiplayer, power
Unreal
weapons, team
Tournament.
deathmatch, and
The skins that released because of this game, they released like a few skins, I think 3 skins for Warframe, uh which were like essentially weapons in the Unreal games. They were one of my favorite sets of skins to release.
capture the flag, laying the ground for many of the multiplayer games that we play today. After parting ways with Epic Games, as Epic went on to make Gears of War with Xbox Studios,
And Fortnite. Should I play Fortnite, chat? Comment down below if you want me to play Fortnite. That might be a better game for us for downtimes in Warframe, because holy fuck, I'm getting bored of League. I'm not getting bored of League, I'm just so fucking bad at League of Legends, man.
they decided to pitch their own game idea, and they tried to do it for over a decade. That
Oh,
game
I've
was
heard
called
about this
Dark
one.
Sector. They struggled to find a publisher for this dark sci-fi MMO concept.
Hayden Tenno.
And ultimately, Digital Extremes was forced into doing work for hire just to be able to keep the company afloat.
I mean, that's the reality of game development.
Projects, while necessary for financial
It's sad,
stability, came
but,
with its own
yeah.
difficulties. The studio faced a cycle of hiring employees for specific
That's gotta
projects
suck, though.
and then laying them off
Especially
once that project
for
concluded.
the
This practice
people that are contracted. Imagine being a contracted employee of DE, getting laid off, and now looking at the company right now. It's booming with this live service game that's been popping off. Oh, that's gotta suck. That's got to suck, man.
is commonplace for work-for-hire studios. However, it disrupted the lives of their employees and their families, a situation
Because you're gonna question, like, what if I wasn't laid off? What if I stayed in the company? What would have happened to me right now? I mean, look at Rebecca Ford, the current creative director of Warframe. She was an intern. Imagine, bro. She was an intern. And to work all the way up into her position right now? Bro, god damn. What an achievement.
that the studio founder has regretted since then. He believed that publishers often lacked a clear vision, and that Digital Extremes would have been better off just focusing on smaller, self-controlled
game is this?
projects, as seen with independent studios that tend to
I feel like
produce
this
higher
is
quality
familiar.
work when they're given full creative control. Despite the continuous efforts to pitch Dark Sector to publishers, the studio continued to face rejection, primarily due to a lack of interest when it came to sci-fi games.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Back then, or this is like early 2010s maybe. Back then, sci-fi really wasn't that accepted by the gaming audience. I mean, Star Wars was a thing, yeah, but other than that, sci-fi was a bit more complicated than your average fantasy world like elves and gnomes and giants. It was more accepted back then than sci-fi.
of publishers, a sentiment that somehow never even changed even with the success of Halo.
Even today, I feel like, I mean, it's been slowly changing, but sci-fi, if you're not a fan of sci-fi, then you're not a fan of sci-fi. It's a specific niche group that likes sci-fi,
A desperate
specifically
move,
sci-fi games.
Digital Extremes caved to a publisher's demands, shifting Dark Sector from a sci-fi MMO to a game that emulated the success of Resident Evil 4 at the time.
Dark
This
Sector.
change involved
I still haven't played that game.
protagonist from a space ninja to a
I have it on my Steam
operating
library because they gave it away for free.
strayed very far from the
But
original concept.
I haven't tried it
New
out yet.
version of Dark Sector
I have
struggled to
the
be able to find
proto
an
skin for
audience,
Excalibur,
however,
though.
It eventually did and gained respectable reviews as
I
well.
mean, look at this gameplay here.
After the release of Dark Sector, the industry started to trend away from
I
AA
cannot play
releases to
horror
AAA
games.
and this made for more issues at
And that
Digital
seems
Extremes.
very
The
horror-ish.
studio, which had previously worked on BioShock's multiplayer and The Darkness 2, found itself struggling to find any contracts as they began to dry up and publishers wanted to start making games in-house.
Ooh.
Observing the success of free-to-play games like World of Tanks in 2000.
Oh, that's how you want to spend it. Okay, you know what? I respect it. You know what? I may not agree to it, but I respect the hustle. That's at least it makes sense.
They didn't see free-to-play as a way to be able to milk players. They recognized and saw the potential to be able to create something smaller and grow the game over time rather than trying to pursue a traditional release.
Yep.
Facing imminent financial collapse with only 12 months of funds remaining, Digital Extremes decided to pursue a long-held vision for what used to be Dark Sector and then was now codenamed Lotus.
Lotus.
They developed a working demo featuring
Look at
spaceship
the
raids,
gameplay, holy
procedurally
fuck.
generated loot and layouts. With
I
an
didn't get to
emphasis
play
on
this
co-op and
version of
PvE
Warframe,
gameplay,
so
recognizing
this is
there was
very
a gap in
interesting.
the market. They approached free-to-play publishers asking for support, but they were getting rejected yet again.
Because it's sci-fi.
Undeterred, Digital Extremes decided to self-fund the project. With 9 months of funds remaining.
Self-funding is very scary. It's very, very scary. So imagine if they didn't though, then we wouldn't have gotten this awesome game. Fuck, man. In an alternate universe, we would never have gotten Warframe. And right now, I would probably still be playing League of Legends. Fuck. Bro, I hate that universe. Thank God I'm not on that universe, bro.
Wanting to give it their all rather than simply just walk away. The development of the alpha version of the game saw significant involvement from Rebecca Ford, an intern who led the creation of their community team. This team was crucial in gathering and responding
their
to player
community team
feedback,
is
strategy
amazing.
that helped shape the game's
I mean,
development and ultimately
there's still some
success.
bumps here and there, but
Embracing the success of
overall,
Kickstarter
still
campaigns
better than
going on
any
at the
other
time,
gameplay.
Digital
I mean,
Extremes introduced
game
supporter packs to raise additional funds.
company
This approach, while
I've ever
initially
seen.
slow, proved ultimately effective.
Excalibur
It demonstrated that there
Prime.
was an audience
Can I turn back time and get Excalibur Prime, please? I'm willing to spend 2 times the amount. Someone get me a time machine, bro.
for their game. Thus, Warframe was born, a game over a decade in the making, who had faith in itself, scorned by an industry nobody else wanted to make it except
Very
for them.
dramatic.
It released into beta on Steam in 2013.
Warframe beta was ass. Let's be real here, chat. The first 2 years of Warframe, I'm sorry, if I ever touch this game during that time period, I'm probably gonna be a hater. Because it was that bad, I think. They were selling power from the documentaries I've seen. They were selling power. They were selling colors for your dogs. It was a wild, wild west. So I'm glad that their community team is very on the ear in terms of the wants of the player base.
To over 20,000 players and has only continued to grow since. Over the years, I've come to realize that the vast majority of the studios that we grew up loving, the games that we grew up loving, the biggest studios and publishers that are out there all came from very similar humble beginnings. But the vast majority of them forgot about it. And the ones that don't end up being the ones that are the most loved and appreciated.
If they didn't forget about it, then they either laid off most of the original team and then exchanged it, or became more corporate, therefore going for the more monetary route. And if you go through that, I mean, the industry, the gaming industry, the entertainment industry in general is a very, very heartfelt platform. So if you go through it in a very business-like lens, people would know, people would feel that, and they wouldn't like it as much. Because if you really do this shit for money, I mean, sometimes it works, but majority of the times it doesn't. I mean, look at Concord.
Look at Larian Studios. Their story is almost identical to Digital
I
Extremes.
don't know Larian that
They started
much.
off making their own games to limited
I do know
success.
they made
did,
Baldur's
were
Gate
hired
3
for a
though.
while just to be able to keep the doors open. When that industry started to dry up and move away, they went to go make their own game. And
I need to try
Divinity
out that
Original
game.
Sin. They danced with bankruptcy.
Wait,
Almost
they
losing
made
the entire studio. But
Divinity?
they found an audience that wanted to support it.
No
and
shot.
Now look at them. Baldur's Gate 3 is heralded as one of the greatest games of all time.
Okay.
They love
I don't know
deserve to
about
do
that
so.
one. I haven't tried it out yet, but From what I heard, it is pretty good. I want to try it out so bad, but it's so fucking expensive, bro. I'm not chilling out that much amount. I don't even earn from YouTube yet. I can't buy shit. God damn.
When I look around the industry right
But
now,
I'll
I see a lot
probably
of
check it
studios
out
that are making
when I
games
get
not
the
because
money
they
to
wanna make
play
them,
it,
but
or
because
if a
they're
sale comes out.
profit motivated.
Profit motivated.
Purely profit
True.
motivated. They no longer
Ooh.
look at players.
There's no
as-
problem being profit motivated. The problem is if it's your first priority. Like, the first priority should always be the quality of your product, and then profit. You know what I mean?
as anything other than tools for
Because let's be real, it's still a company. A company is a company. A company needs money to run, so you can never run away from being too profit motivated. But still, bro. But still, you. God damn.
making money, and that's it. Rather than looking at them for what they actually are, which is a means to be able to deliver a higher quality product, use their feedback and their information to be able to earn their money, and then by extension, make your game even that more popular. Because when
That's true.
players are happy, they tend to talk about it a heck of a lot more. And I've also noticed that, games
Free
are a form of
publicity.
art, and without soul, there is no art. And in the case of
This is what I
games,
was
I
talking
think a lot
about
of
earlier.
players are starting to wake up and realize they can see it in your trailers, they can see it in your gameplay, they can see it when the soul isn't there.
And they're getting tired
when
of
they
it.
know it's there and they see it's there, they're into that game. But when they don't see it, they don't want to have anything to do with it. And I
Yep.
think that's why we've seen a lot of games over the last few years fail. Digital Extremes started out with great intentions, to be honest with you.
Most gaming companies do, actually. For you to be in this industry, you gotta have some love about the video games and stuff, because it's a hard industry to be in.
Doesn't mean that they didn't make the same
Yeah.
mistakes that many other free-to-play and live service games make time and time again.
Are we talking about
That's with
the
its monetization.
gacha now,
But the difference is
or the
they
power
learn from their
selling?
mistakes. I don't think anybody can disagree with this. Recently, over the last few years, both live service and free-to-play games have permeated through every space in the entire gaming industry. Every single company wants their Fortnite, Counter-Strike, Genshin Impact, whatever it might
Battle pass, gachas, exclusive skins, FOMO bait.
be, and of course they would, because they draw in revenues.
Yeah, it's money. It's big money. Oh my god, the money's insane.
Make you wonder why anybody would ever want to make another full-priced game again. With the introduction
It's exhausting,
of
bro.
free-to-play live service games, we've seen year over year, month over month, players are losing ground, losing choice, and losing their money.
Ooh,
Free-to-play has become synonymous
that
with
hits.
cutting content,
That
adding
hits.
player achievement, and putting a price tag on it.
Ooh,
the gameplay
put that in a t-shirt.
itself is free, the model has incentivized developers to paywall everything in the game or put in absurd time restrictions and hurdles for players to be able to overcome just so they can try to earn anything with their own time or their own skill.
I.e., BDO's weight system, BDO's inventory, BDO's teleporting, BDO's everything, man. I'm still so salty that I spent as much, if not more, time on BDO than Warframe. I can't believe this. I played Warframe earlier. I played Warframe way earlier than I did BDO. The problem is that BDO incentivizes AFK content. That's why I have so much more hours on it than Warframe. But holy fuck, man, I regret everything. I haven't touched that game for like months now.
Studios today are incentivized to actively harm the player experience and lower the quality of the overall product.
I even hate it more than League. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say, at least League isn't, at least League, you're getting scammed, and it doesn't really affect gameplay. When you're shit, you're shit. It doesn't matter if you have a $900 skin. But in BDO, fuck, bro. Oh my god.
All in the name of higher profits. Digital Extremes was incredibly nervous about getting into free-to-play because they were afraid that they were going to do it wrong, and in fact, they did. At first, they started selling power.
Ooh, is this the
It wasn't
mod capacity?
reputation
Yeah,
that
it
they
is.
wanted to create for themselves. At the creation of Warframe,
Ooh,
you could double the
look at
capacity of
this
your
shot.
mod or
Look at
skill
this.
tree
Fuck,
slots
it
in your
looks so
Warframes.
bad.
However, there was no way to be able to earn this in-game, and the only way that you could get it was by paying for it with real money. Early on, before the game's beta release, Digital Extremes saw the players' feedback regarding this issue and removed it and any other perceived
W developer.
vowing for fair monetization to be a core tenet of
That's
the
my
studio
developer
forward.
shot.
In that
Let's
move, and
go.
other changes that they made due to their deep involvement in the early foundations of their games community, they fostered a positive community spirit and gained even more support.
Mm-hmm.
In an interview 6 years ago with Danny O'Dwyer of No Clip
Oh,
Documentary,
is
they
this
mentioned how
the
difficult it was for these people to find
bruh.
any
This is the
marketing or visibility
documentary.
because at the time nobody wanted to touch free-to-play games. However, the positive community that they had already started
Because he was talking about the documentary, by the way. During that time, the most prevalent free-to-play games were MOBAs. There wasn't really great free-to-play live service games. Even today, I feel like, what other live service games are great? Like not just good, great. I could count it in one hand. And it's slowly dwindling, by the way, the numbers.
started to culture, the fact that they had been listening to their community ended up catching the attention of the late great commentator Total
Total
Biscuit, who came to
Biscuit!
cover the game,
W!
and catapult its popularity into the mainstream.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched Total Biscuit's video about Warframe, and I got turned off so bad because of the UI. It wasn't until Skill Up made one of his reviews about the game that I started playing it, and I went into a deep hole because of that. Channel, bro. Skill Up, massive W, great reviewer. I'm kind of sad that he's been a bit invisible as of late. I think his channel is handled by 2 people now. But yeah.
I think that this is one of the most valuable lessons for Digital Extremes or any company to learn, and it's that good things happen to good developers, especially
Not every time. But if you're consistently good things are gonna happen to you. That's true.
those who treat their players as well as Digital Extremes and listens to their feedback.
What's that quote again from Hikigaya Hachiman from Origairo? Your efforts might betray you, but I fucking know.
Game developers
But it's something about dreams don't always come true, but at least you could take comfort in the fact that you worked hard to try to make that dream come true. Big W. One of my favorite characters in anime. Hikigaya Hachiman. Based. Some people might call him an incel, but no, he's based.
large and small, need to recognize that they are providing a product and service around. The expectation is on them to create a fun, fair, entertaining, and valuable experience in exchange for our money. When I see game developers posting on Reddit talking about how they hate gamers because of YouTube live stream comments.
Ah, brother. Not this subreddit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm part of this subreddit. Not because I agree with their... Because it's like a whole cult thing. I don't agree with their stance at all. I just like hate reading it when I'm on the toilet, bro. Because it's just game devs mauling over the fact that their games are not getting the amount of people that they want or the amount of revenue that they want, because they're working so hard. I mean, sure, they're working so hard, but god damn, bro, god damn, it's not our fault that your quality and your product is ass. You know what I mean? If you want people to play your game, just be better. Just get good, Omega.
Or how a lead Starfield developer makes a Twitter thread saying, funny how disconnected some players are from the realities of game development. Authority. I mean, I can guess what it takes to make a Hostess Twinkie, but I don't work in the factory, so what the hell do I know really?
I don't know how to make a Hostess Twinkie, but I do know when it's shit. I do know when its flavor is not... I do know when it's expired. You know what I mean? If it's salt instead of sugar that's used, I'll know that first bite. Especially me. I'm a fat fuck. So don't mess with me in terms of Hostess Twinkies, man. You won't win.
A lot. And neither of these opinions that these people have are in the minority of opinions.
Yeah, I don't know why, but there's a very vocal minority of game devs in X and in Reddit that keep spouting off nonsense, bro. Nonsense.
What authority do players speak? With their
Money.
They are
Exactly.
paying customers. Paying customers. While players may not know exactly how to voice their concerns, and oftentimes will do it in the wrong way,
Exactly,
you still
bro.
should be listening to them because they are telling you that something is wrong with your game. And at the end of the day, all they want is a better product, which only
That's what I'm so confused. If your company is purely profit based, then you should know that to get the most amount of profit, you gotta have to cater at least some of your content to your player base. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know, man.
serve
It's
to make you
it's a
more money in
confusing
the
mess.
end. We've seen developers stray from the side of players. However, how many developers have you seen remove a microtransaction from
Oh,
their
now
game
we're talking
because
about the
players
Kubro?
were using it too much?
Kubro colors?
When Warframe introduced colors for their pet skins,
When I first heard about it, I think I first heard about this from SkillUp. My jaw dropped to the floor because holy shit, you don't see this. Even back then, even now, you never see this. I think you'll never ever see this ever again. Hopefully we do, but I kind of doubt it. But when I first heard about this, bro, that was the time. That was the exact moment when I said, okay, they're different. There's something in the water that they're drinking. That's just based. It's just crazy.
they didn't realize that they had inadvertently created
Because look, bro, if they could have kept this, because I'm not gonna lie, if they kept this, nobody would question it, because it's just colors, right? I mean, and it's still using platinum. I think when they first released it, platinum you could still get from the game just by grinding. So if you release this and keep it, and it survived up until now, I wouldn't have questioned it, because maybe my my defense is like, oh, they gotta have to get money from somewhere, because majority of the games, I mean, it's a small thing. It's colors for your pet, but the fact that they removed it is just
it
I
again.
don't have a word
Players
for it.
trying to search for the rarest skin colors and the combinations that they wanted.
Do you guys care
saw
about your
a player
colors
who
for your
felt his pet's color
pets?
200 times and their stomachs.
I honestly just
Within
put it all
a
in
day and a
black.
half, they had removed the mechanic from the game and
Or if I don't, I
without
put it
the
all
need
in
for
neon
players.
green or neon
The spirit of
orange.
that can be found
for
throughout
for the
entire
memes.
game. As of a recent update, now everything in the game, just about everything in the game,
As for the recent update, the fuck do you mean? It's
is earnable in game with very few outliers.
No, it's always been that way. Other than, of course, the heirloom skins and some of the, founders items. Other than that, most of the items is obtainable either through platinum, which you could farm in game for free, or through grinding for the materials that are needed for that blueprint, like stuff like that.
Warframe uses
It's always been this way.
platinum as its in-game premium currency, and it's fully tradable. Players can go out, farm valuable resources.
I think I made a video about getting platinum, 1000 platinum to be exact, in a very, very realistic manner. Check that shit out. It took me like 5 days or something, but at least it's not like other videos you see on YouTube where they sit in their screen for 7 hours straight.
mods, weapons, and Warframe blueprints, and then trade with other players without ever even spending a dime. You would think that this is trapped behind some type of end game progression or something.
Sometimes I kind of feel bad about not spending in the game. I usually just spend in the game when I get discount coupons from the login bonuses. So I think throughout the years since 2017 up until now, I've only spent a total of $50, maybe 60. Yeah, and I think the only Prime Access that I bought was Gauss's, because I'm a Gauss main. So that's like, how much is that? $25. The accessory pack. Other than that, most of the stuff that I earned, and I've earned all of it. Yeah, I've gotten every single weapon Warframe in the game. I've earned it through gameplay. You'll never see an MMO like that, bro.
Thing, right? No, you can start doing this within the first 15 to 20 hours of playing the game.
I say even
I
5
was
hours.
already trading items with other players
If you know what you're doing.
stockpiling currency from the minute that I had started. While players still have the option to buy anything that they want from the game's in-game shop, all of those things, or at least the vast majority of them outside of cosmetics and color palettes, can be earned in-game. So, Mr.
True.
YouTuber, that means that Warframe must have the most difficult and high-end equipment behind paywalls.
That's what you would
It
say
has to be insanely
if you're a
difficult to get.
traumatized gamer.
No.
No,
Pinnacle
yeah.
Warframes and weapons are called primes. You can earn these by cracking relics, and you get relics constantly while you're playing the game.
Sometimes they're even easier to get than the normal versions. In the case of not Styanax, there's no Prime Styanax yet. But some of the Warframes like Hildren, Baruch, it's so much easier to get the Prime versions than the normal versions. Because the normal versions, you're gonna have to do quests and shit. That takes like so long. But in the Primes, you just buy it from the marketplace from other people that already have the parts and just build it that way if you have the resources.
When you go to do these missions to crack the relics, you're playing with 4 players, and all
That's only on some of the Warframes though. Majority of the Warframes are easier to get normally, the normal versions other than the Primes. Because the Primes, they for sure cost plat.
you can choose to use the exact same relic, which would then increase your chances of being able to get what you wanted, because everybody can choose from everyone else's rewards.
Yeah, relic sharing.
Even if you're in a party that isn't coordinated and you're all running different relics, if you don't get what you want out of yours, you can just get a copy of somebody else's.
That's my favorite
if it's more
activity.
valuable.
Just playing Void relics in pubs and randomly getting a gold item feels very, very good. The dopamine rush is insane.
You can choose to get whatever you want. Every weapon, every frame, companion, and otherwise is at your fingertips. You can earn your way through Warframe without ever even spending a dime. Many players have. There is no time wasting in Warframe.
Okay, there's some time wasting in Warframe.
What's even more crazier is that adding to this absurdity, they show players how not to spend money within their premium shop. If you go to their premium shop and look at any of the items available in it, next to every item, it tells you how to go earn that item in-game rather than spending money.
You know what? I didn't really think about it that way. That's kind of crazy. What? I didn't even think of it that way.
They
Wait
teach
a
players
minute.
how not to spend money.
Yeah, they did. Look at that. Look at that. Wait.
They teach
Recipe for Axeleto can be researched in the Tenno Lab Dojo room. What?
how not
When you
to
think
spend
about
money
that,
in their
that's
shop. But that
that's
doesn't
gotta
mean that
cost them a
players
lot
don't
of
support
money
the game. In
just
fact,
for
they
putting
do
that.
quite a lot, because by making things so accessible, giving massive discounts on their currency and things like that, being able to just get all the things that you want in the game by playing it, players just want to spend money on
This is so true, bro. Like, majority of the spending that I did in Warframe, I didn't even need to do. I just did it because I felt bad. Because I've sunk so much hours into the game that not spending money feels like a scam. Feels like I'm scamming the developers. It's that bad. I don't feel this way when playing League of Legends because I know that they're scamming me of my time. But in Warframe, it's a different feeling.
game because they want to support it, because they love the game so
The Ghost Prime Access that I bought, sure, I want it. I mean, sure, there were boosters and shit for 90 days. But still, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even need the cosmetics. I don't even use the cosmetics for the Ghost Prime Access.
much. Not
It's
because they feel like
something
they need
else,
to.
man.
Imagine that. Imagine a world in which the players are not spending money on
Imagine.
a game because they need to overcome some fabricated barrier that's put in place, and if they spend money, they're going to be able to get through it faster or get through it at all. No, instead
No.
they're spending money because they actually want to support the game. They just are
True.
enjoying themselves and want to spend the money. Now, mind you, some of this is definitely driven by convenience, but
Yeah,
the vast
there's still
majority of
some
players just
convenience.
love the game and want to support it. And that's not to say that there aren't areas worth criticizing. I'm still not a fan of the fact of them having 12 to 72 hours.
Okay, not to be a defender of Warframe here, but they have been implementing a few Warframes with lower queue times, crafting times, I meant. I think they're gonna update Rhino to be 12 hours. Kome was also 12 hours.
Crafting timers on weapons and warframes. It's just too much. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just too
You usually don't you
much.
don't really back when I was trying to get MR, you don't really feel it though, because you're farming for like so much that by the time you finish farming one of the things that you want, another one pops in that you want, and then you farm it again, and it's a cycle of just farming, leveling up. It's something else.
And also, there's a big limitation on the amount of weapon and warframe slots, inventory slots.
They've also been improving that. I don't know how much it is as a new player today, but back then we only had like 2 to 3 extra slots. Right now, I think you could get up to 10 weapon slots for free if you do it correctly, because you still get your 50 free plat in the beginning, right?
Slots that are available early on for players. That's something that in general just needs to get fixed. But the thing is that
Also,
the longer
Nightwave
you play the
visiting,
game,
so
the
you get
less
some
those
slots
things
there
become
too.
an issue because you have so many other things that you're working on, leveling up, playing as, farming for, while all these other things are building in the background that you really don't even notice it all that much. And while there's room for improvement, this is largely the most ethical live service game I've ever seen monetized.
So true. Actually, so true.
And
I'm
I
sorry
don't think
about the
any other
coughing,
game
by the way.
wants to try to
I
compete
feel
on those
kind of bad.
terms.
I'm still kind of sick.
Definitely don't want to compete on their content.
No, you don't.
Warframe's first turning
No,
point
you
came when
don't.
the game released on Steam, which marked a critical
That's like
success and provided
12
the
years
studio
of
with the
content.
necessary resources to be able to continue to support and develop the game. Unlike competitive shooters that can maintain an
Not all of
audience
them are
with
good,
minimal updates,
but there's a lot of
Warframe
them.
faced the challenge of sustaining interest in a
Most of them are
PvP-centric
good.
game, which is far more difficult. To overcome this, Digital Extremes heavily leaned on the experienced development team who had weathered the storm through the toughest times and possessed the deep institutional knowledge that was necessary to make the game successful. If it wasn't for the fact that they held on to their employees when the game in the studio was facing its closure, they likely would have never been able to make the game the success that it is today.
Maybe,
In the years
maybe.
following the game's release on Steam, Warframe saw a rapid expansion in content. The studio introduced clans, player hubs, a plethora of new weapons and warframes, and diverse gameplay elements like open world areas, vehicles, and space combat.
Mounts.
But the most significant shift in the game's identity
Lore.
came with the release of the Second Dream.
The Second
a cinematic
Dream.
quest that redefined
Once you finish this
Warframe
quest, you're done with the tutorial.
the game. This quest introduced fully voiced
This is like 40, 50 hours into the game, by the way. 30 if you're fast. 20 if you know what you're doing.
acted high-quality cinematic experiences with intricate writing and storytelling that elevated the game from a compelling free-to-play title to a truly exceptional experience. No
It's not just a
longer was
good game, you know?
Warframe just a
Not just a
free-to-play
free-to-play game.
It was just a great game
Yeah.
that happened
Yeah.
to be
What?
free-to-play. Digital
Bro.
Extremes continued to push boundaries with
We're in
subsequent
the same
updates.
wavelength.
The new war whispers in the wall.
Whenever I think about Warframe, I don't even think about it being free to play. It's just a great game in my eyes now, because there's a stigma about free to play games, right? Oh, it's such a great game, but it's free though. So how great could it actually be? But when I think about Warframe, that thought doesn't go into my mind at all.
the upcoming major update, Warframe 1999. These expansions demonstrate a level of writing, character development, and cinematic quality that's typically associated with AAA blockbuster
The
titles.
thing I love, The thing I love about Warframe is that its lore isn't like on your face kind of thing. It's sometimes on your face, but majority of it is like Diablo 2 type lore, where you need to find the scattered pieces and connect them together to find the true timeline and lore of the world. That's what's fun about the game for me,
reflect nothing
lore
of what
wise.
we've seen in typical free-to-play games. The studio's ambition to deliver high-end content remained evident with every release, further increasing the game's reputation among players both new and old. That's what's made the Warframe that we have today. One of the systems I was the most shocked by
Archwing.
was at one point I unlocked what I can best describe as Sea of Thieves in space.
That's a good way to put it. Sea of Thieves in space.
That you can upgrade and
Railjack. Oh
weapons and
god,
control
remember when Railjack first released? For my veteran players out there, bro, Railjack was so ass. And the farming, the amount of resources you need. If you're like an old player, then you probably have the resources already, just like I did. But holy fuck, bro! Like the gameplay was so ass. It was such a baggy mess. I don't think the gameplay was the problem. It was the bugs.
by other players in co-op. You hire NPCs to manage the ship. You
And
fight
it's
other
and let's be real here. Railjack is a co-op game in a game that has majoritarily solo. So that's something to think about.
ships. You can board other ships.
Not solo. I mean, most people just go pubs, but solo by what I meant by solo is just playing alone without friends. Railjack is very cooperative heavy.
Steal other ships and raid enemy bases.
It's like Sea
While
of
the
Thieves.
feature didn't land
You don't
well
play
on
Sea of Thieves
release and it
alone.
had its issues. What is available today
I mean,
is an
you do
absolute blast to
sometimes,
play, and
but
it feels
it's
like
it's
completely
better
unique
to
the
play
game,
with friends.
and like it could have been there from the start. In the landscape of live service and free-to-play games,
Duviri!
developers opt for the safe approach.
Isn't this kind of
Focusing on
spoilery though?
incremental updates and minor changes
shouldn't
rather
show
than
this.
undertaking any significant overhaul. This
Eh.
safe strategy often
I'll
results
play the
in
Viri
steady,
at the start of the
gradual
game. Never
improvements,
mind.
But most major additions and transformative changes end up being locked behind paid expansions, premium content, and
Battle Pass.
microtransactions.
True.
Typically, free-to-play games and live service games will introduce minor tweaks, seasonal updates, and limited-time offers to try to keep players engaged.
Like Fortnite,
While
like
Warframe
Apex.
does the exact same thing. They aren't strangers to making big splashes with major updates, and all the while, they're not charging the players a dime.
They're not just strangers. They're friends. It's always a big splash whenever a big update comes out.
Other games with standard offerings can sometimes refresh the experience and provide new incentives to be able to log in, but they rarely bring the wide sweeping changes that might significantly alter the gameplay or narrative, making the game overall feel more stale.
True.
I'll give kudos to games like Fortnite, who often radically change their map, put in new modes, and give more ways for players to be able to express themselves in games, like even creating their own games within Fortnite.
That's kind of how they stay alive though. If they didn't do that, if they stayed with the original survival map, Fortnite would have died long ago without the collaborations, without the new skins, without the dances, no matter how cringe they are, without the celebrity collabs. Fortnite would have been a dot in the gaming history if it weren't for that.
Right? However, the vast majority of games don't do this, and in combination with that lack of risk, they often let go of the developers that got them to where they are in the first place.
Mostly because of money problems, but yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
Ignoring the players that got them to where they are in the first place. And as a result, they hollow out their experience, leaving them with nowhere to go. There's too much focus on monetization, and it's leading to a disparity between the expectations of the player and the financial outlook of the developer.
Oh wow, he's spitting right now. He's spitting so hard right now.
Today, we have developers that are understaffed, underpaid, under a lot of pressure, under-delivering to their audience, while for some odd reason the company is still expecting more money.
Oh, oh my god, I feel this so bad. Cause I don't know if you guys know this about me. I probably shouldn't be putting this in the public, but I have aspirations to make games. So once I finish college or once I finish my studies, I kind of want to at least dip my toes into game development. But hearing this one, it's because when I first started college, the landscape wasn't this depressing. So now it's like, oh fuck. I still love doing it, you know. I still want to do it, but the hearing things that you hear right now, the layoffs, it's depressing.
That are out there projecting growing profit without investing in growing content. And their expectation is because you're playing, you must be paying, and I'm sick of it. Look, just recently I saw with Apex Legends, the big drama that cropped up around it, where basically,
not
long
Apex.
story short, developer goes in and makes it where you can no longer earn the next battle pass by
Yep.
completing the last battle pass.
Yep.
Where previously, you were able
Ah,
and they made these changes.
It was so
gaslighting the
stupid.
players, saying that it's because we're trying to deliver you
you,
guys more
it's because we
valuable
want to
experience.
give you more skins. It's because we want to give you a better experience. Shut up with the bullshit, man.
We're doing it because we're trying to grow the
Just say it to my face. You need more money. And you're not getting enough money because we're not buying your currency because we keep just reusing the currency that you get from the battle pass. So now you want us to buy more. Just say it outright. I'll have more respect to you that way, man. I mean, at least you're not bullshitting me.
game and
God damn.
It's more value. That's really what it is.
Value.
When anybody with any base level of intelligence,
Based
see how insulting
level
it
of
is to say
intelligence.
something like that when it's so transparently not that. And they're not the only developer doing things like
Nah,
that.
some developers are even doubling their battle pass price. I'm not gonna name names, but holy fuck, bro.
Across the board, so many developers that are making minor changes to their game.
Minor.
All of their focus is on their monetization. How else they can shift and move things around to make it where they can make more money and you get less out of playing the game. And in that, the only thing that you're serving to do is make an audience that isn't loyal to you, that is just waiting.
You know what's sad about this? Sometimes it's not even the developer's fault. Sometimes it's just a company or the marketing department or the one of the higher ups just, we need more money. And the developers, they just love to make the game. And they, you can't question that because they're a higher up. So, and the sad part about it is that they get the brunt of the hate.
Thing at the mouth at the chance to be able to jump onto the next game and get as far away from you as they possibly can. Sure, they're playing your game right now. Sure, it's popular right now, but that's because they don't really have another option, and there's nothing else right now.
Overwatch 2 to Marvel
Once
Rivals.
there is something that hot that comes out, you're done.
Exactly.
That's it.
Overwatch 2 to Marvel Rivals, bro.
Players are
Look at his face. Look at his face. He's like
That's it.
depressed as fuck. He's so fucking depressed about the situation. Oh my god, this is peak, bro. This is peak. Thank God my camera's not on. Thank God, because I'm doing the same face earlier. I was like, fuck, bro.
Players are a valuable resource, and you need to value them. They provide you with everything that
The players are a valuable resource and you need to value them.
you need
God
to be successful,
damn.
both creatively and financially. And if you use them the appropriate way, you can be huge, you can be massive. And while that's not the truth for every single game, because every single game is different, they have a different audience, they have a different use case. Not everybody plays the same kind of games.
Not everybody wants to play one game for the rest of their lives. Some people just want to jump games. And that's not a problem. You need to be accepting of that as a game developer.
When you value them, they keep you afloat. They help you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of Digital Extremes and Warframe, I don't think that there's another developer that's out there that appreciates their audience the same way or does the same things that Digital Extremes does with their audience.
I mean, the dev shorts, the dev shorts were a winning idea. And just the dev streams overall, I don't see people, game developers, other game companies, do this dev stream thing at all. Or as consistent as Warframe does. It's the first of its kind. Or maybe there was like something similar, but it's the only surviving concept or idea right now. Are there any other live service games that are doing the same thing right now? No.
Except for maybe
If there's like something, like I'm very glad to hear about it because
YouTube channel. And
I kind of want to
why am I not
support
in
this
it?
kind of
I get it. Like Lowly
tradition.
and Co-Carnage are really cool, but like I made a lot of videos on.
What are we talking about right now? Baldur's Gate? Okay.
Come on.
He's molding.
Initially, I had wondered how Warframe was able to hold on to such a consistent player base for so long, regardless of good or bad updates, new games, or financial
The Wulong nerfs, we suffered through that.
declines. Their core audience has stayed
The PoE, we suffered through that. The Railjack bugs, We suffered through that. We hated it as a community, but we still love the game. That's the difference.
Rock solid for over a decade now.
Okay, I don't know about the PoE. I think that's a bit more controversial. Personally, I didn't really like PoE until they updated the looks. But because the original PoE was buggy as heck, because that was their first ever open world. Fortuna was buggy too, but not as buggy as PoE.
Now, and in and of itself, that is a feat that very few games have accomplished. It wasn't until I started streaming my experience over on Twitch, playing the game for the very first time, that I was exposed to the game's community, and in that, I noticed how positive they are. And
Sometimes a bit too
similar
much, honestly.
experience I had with Final Fantasy XIV, but altogether completely different.
Sometimes a bit too much, because some people just take this positive environment that Warframe has and takes it as like a rule. Like, you can't make constructive criticism on Warframe, bro. I love this game. Rah! It's like a cult. But no. If you truly love the game, if you like the game to succeed, to get more players, you have to say when shit hits the fan. Say it as what it is. Like right now, the Valkyrie update. Some people are very controversial about it. Some people like it. But there are people that are like, don't question my favorite game developer. There's no problem either liking it or not and putting your constructive criticism about it. The problem comes when you just don't want other people questioning your developers. Because that's where it starts. That's where it erodes.
Many players have been playing the game since alpha. They've unlocked everything in the game, effectively beaten the game, logging thousands of hours.
Raise your hand if that's you. I can't raise my hand right now, but that's me.
They are out there guiding new players and doing things that they've done thousands of times because they love the game that much.
True.
And I was curious where that comes from. Well, sure, the game has regular updates, new content, new weapons, and new warframes. I couldn't see how Warframe could become somebody's daily driver until I saw how Digital Extremes engages with their community.
Do you guys daily drive Warframe?
Oftentimes, developers lay silent between content releases and major updates.
Oh my
They
god, I'm
put their
so
head in the
sorry,
sand,
chat.
They lit a couple.
Oh my god, the quality is probably so ass on your part, huh? Oh, that's my bad.
Go out and respond or repost on Twitter and only come out of hibernation to make promotional content to drive up interest around the next big update or major change. In that time of silence, I think it makes it feel like updates are further apart than they actually are.
I mean, look at Genshin. Look at WoWa. They only do like one stream, an update, right? And an update is only 6 weeks. When you think about it, 6 weeks isn't that big of a time span. But it feels so long because we don't hear about anything going on at the background.
Players aren't engaged, and when they aren't engaged, they lose interest. And DE makes it really hard for you not to feel engaged as they support their community like they're content creators rather than game developers.
So true.
Every single week, they go live on YouTube.
I love this man. Pablo, I treasure this man.
And Twitch to do something they call a dev short, where Steve Sinclair, the CEO...
Steve's funny too. My profile glyph in Warframe is the pink briefs, and I think that's a Steve thing.
of Digital Extremes, together with Rebecca Ford, the once community manager and now creative director of Warframe, just talk to the players for 15 minutes. They answer questions, they tell them about things.
This
that
is
they're
such a
working
good
on,
idea,
they
by the way.
joke
Other
around.
people
They do
should
this every
implement
week.
this for their
What other
games.
game studios give that kind of transparency to the players?
We need
What
more of them,
other
honestly.
game companies are that grounded to make sure that their CEO of all people is constantly
You know
in
what?
contact with
I keep forgetting that Steve is now the CEO because he's always on the screen, and usually you don't even see CEOs anywhere near close to their game development side of things in terms of game industry stuff. So this is
with the
so I always forget it.
None. And that's not all they do. Every Wednesday and Thursday, they host Prime Time over on
Prime
Twitch.
time.
And each
I don't watch this stuff, but when they gotta have drops, I usually just pop in and AFK. But I'm happy for the people that enjoy it
of them have their own separate streams.
because they give away a lot of shit. using during these prime times.
for English and Spanish, where the
Oh yeah, they have their Spanish side as well.
developers and community managers come out to play the game with the players. Have you ever heard of anything more absurd than that? Developers actually playing their game and playing their game with players with an audience up to 250,000 viewers.
Okay, that's a bit too much. There's no way prime times get 250k viewers. No shot. But still, maybe I'm just used to it. But the idea of developers playing their own game isn't that surprising to me anymore because of Warframe. So that doesn't really hit as much. But I definitely see new Tenno watching this and hearing about this and being so surprised about it. Because you don't see that from other developers.
Giving away skins, Twitch drops, different items, premium currencies. They tell stories. They play trivia games with chat, and they show
They even have their own segment where someone from the team plucks out funny quotes from the chat and they read it at the end of the stream. That's my favorite part.
off different community art submissions. They are more involved with their community than I think any developer ever has
Oh,
been.
definitely.
The fruits of their labor shine
Oh,
so brightly.
oh, definitely.
It shines in how positive their community is, how engaged they are.
I
how
love the
well
Warframe
game is
community,
developed
man.
and supported, how
We have a
solid
few
the
bad eggs here and
monetization
there,
is.
but
It's why they are allowed to take
Ah,
the risks with
I'm
the
so
games that
happy
they
I'm in
have,
this
and even
community.
with future games in development like Soulframe. The players know that they're appreciated. They know that the developer is trying to achieve something, and they can tell that they truly love what they are doing. They
Yeah, you can
clearly
feel
see
it.
that these developers love their game, and it shows.
I mean, look at the spider frame. It was a meme. I still can't believe that's a real thing. Even Voruna, because I think Reb wanted a wolf frame for so long, and when they released Varuna's like, fuck, Varuna's so long now, huh? I feel old.
Digital Extremes recognizes what many developers have slowly started to drift away from, that players are a part of your game, and
Exactly. Community is such a big part of doing live service shit.
without them, your game wouldn't be what it is.
Ah,
And in fact,
that's
with
so true.
Warframe, that's literally true. In the early days of Warframe, movement is exactly what you would have expected.
Oh,
games
Zorin
to be.
capturing?
Over-the-shoulder, third-person shooter.
Are we talking about
Sliding
Zorin capturing
and
right
running,
now?
but overall, the movement was slow. Players discovered an exploit where they called it Zorin coptering.
Yeah.
They fly across maps, sling themselves across maps, and complete missions in a fraction of the time. Instead of removing this, instead of
Bullet
standing
jumping.
against the players and changing something that the players were
Because of that one person that made Zorin Coptering famous, now we have the best movement system in any third-person shooter anywhere. Whoever you are, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, man.
enjoying or doing, they recognized that the players were exploiting this because they were trying to avoid something that was actively ruining their experience. So Digital Extremes revamped the entire movement system for the game, working it from the ground up to be one of the most fluid movement systems in all of gaming. This video took a lot longer to record than I thought.
Another example of that is when there was a bug about a very recent bug. The 1999 motorcycles, you could use it on other tile sets. Usually you can't use mounts on other tile sets. But there was a spaghetti code where you could use it. And they saw the community loving the feature so much that they decided to keep it. They cleaned a few stuff. They cleaned a few bugs. I think there was this Grendel bug where because of the bug, he could eat entire galleons of ships. But other than that, they kept it, which is amazing.
Thought it would. It's already dark outside. You might actually end up hearing my cat chattering with another cat that shows up outside. This little orange cat. They just kind of talk through the window.
We're talking about cats right now. Okay.
Over the last few years, I've noticed a conversation that's popped up between game developers and game journalists, and they're talking about how cold and unfeeling and how unsympathetic gamers are towards the plight of the industry. How some of these companies are failing, how games are failing.
I don't know about that
how
one.
Companies are going out of business.
Gamers are only unsympathetic if you're a bad developer. If you're a good developer, sometimes they even become rabid defenders. So it really depends.
This is how people are losing their jobs, and they are absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, we are consumers, we're buying games, and if you do not make a game that we want to play and it wasn't worth our money and we wasted it on your game and you go out of business as a result of
That's
that,
your fault, man.
that's on you.
Exactly.
You got what you got coming to you. It didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why is because back, and this is something that's just kind of evolved over time, is that many of the
I
companies
saw the
that
cap, by the
are out
way.
there right now, some of the biggest companies that are out there right now came from
EA,
humble beginnings, no different than Larry
Ubisoft.
Studios or Digital Extremes or anything
Yeah.
else that's out there. But when they were smaller,
Rockstar.
they felt like they were one of us because they were one of us. They were players that were making games because they wanted to make cool games for them to play and for other people to play.
Exactly.
But as time went on and they got bigger and they made more money and they started selling out and literally selling out to other companies, what ended up happening is that conversation changed. That interaction that we used to have, that relationship that we used to have with the developers,
A bit
that
parasocial.
social-like
Yep.
relationship that we had,
I mean,
started to
it's not being parasocial. Is bad still, but there you still need to have at least some connection. You know.
disappear because they started talking to us through a veil of money.
Okay, he's talking about this as if every developer is like that when they get big. It's usually not the case. Sometimes it's not even the developer's fault. It's mostly the company as a whole and not the developer in general. But I get what he's trying to say. I don't really want to contest it because it's still true. But he needs to be very careful with his words because sometimes it's not the developer's fault, man. They're just stuck in a bad situation.
It was always apology letters and tweets that are just trying to manipulate the truth more than anything else. It's all
Because imagine if you're like a low-level developer in Ubisoft and you want to make a game good. You want to make this game succeed. But you can't really do much because the only job you have right now is just the rigging and just making backgrounds for the new Assassin's Creed game. Is it your fault that the game is ass? Technically, you have a part in it, but it's not only your fault, you know?
gaslighting.
And sometimes that's the sad part.
You're not trying to help us. You're not trying to do anything for us. You're just trying to make money. And to be honest with you, it's cowardice. It's so disgusting. Like, if you just want to make money, go make money, dog. Say you're doing it for it. I almost have more respect for
Oh my
companies
God.
that just laid their nuts out on the table. And said, "We're gonna
chill,
make money."
chill.
Trying to paint it in these colorful
Not the
words
nuts
and
on the
make it feel
table.
like they're our friends, and really, this is all just for you guys.
Teletubbies.
I think there's a lot to learn from a company like Digital Extremes, especially in the way that they stay connected with their audience. That level of connection brings in insane levels of endearment where the people that are playing the game just genuinely love the work that the people are doing because they like the people too. They like.
Sometimes I get tired of Warframe. I'm not gonna lie, chat. If you're at my point where you got everything, you have like 5,000 platinum right now. You're waiting for the new content to release. There's gonna be days where you don't want to log in. You don't want to open the game. You just want to boot up another game, another MMO, another thing to sink into. It might not be as good as Warframe in your eyes. It might not be as good as Warframe anywhere close. But still, you get bored. And the only thing that's stopping me from actively not playing the game, not doing daily logins, is the community. And that's the effect of it. The Discord friends that I made because of the game, the new players that need help, the players that ask for content in YouTube and Twitch. That's the only thing stopping me from not playing this game until new content releases. And I don't feel about that in any other game at all. That's that's the thing I love about Warframe.
Both things at the exact same time, and that's an awesome thing to have. My cat is freaking out right now. That's an awesome thing to have because players at the end of the day do want to be appreciated.
Of
Want
course.
to be heard.
Yes.
And the more we're heard and the more we're appreciated and the more that the game is actually worth our time and money,
The more we
the more
love and
likely
play the
we are to
game.
continue to invest in that game and
Exactly.
invest in future things.
If not
to
with
do.
money, then with time.
However, the vast majority of the industry is really doing nothing other than creating unloyal fan bases. Sure, your game might be doing okay now, but the minute that somebody else comes by, like Digital Extremes or something
Like I
that,
said earlier,
does the same things that
Marvel
they do,
Rivals and Overwatch 2.
your audience is gone.
Yep. Bye
There's a
bye.
lot to learn from this. I really do. That's the whole reason I make these wake-up call videos.
He's kind of doing the thing where you just yap for an hour. There's something I'm doing too, but still, I feel like he's said this multiple times now throughout the video.
In the first place is because I think there is a lot to learn from some of the best studios that are on the market, some of the best games that are on the market. And there's a ton of them. There is. And I plan on doing a ton of these videos because they're a lighthouse, an opportunity for those who have drifted
A lighthouse.
away
I like that.
finally see the light, come back to land, touch grass,
Okay.
find out what players like, what players really want, and how to talk to players again. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching it this long. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you
Oh, I'm definitely
want more people to
subscribing.
See it, throw a like on the video.
Subscribe. Wait, what?
Twitch if you
Why
guys
can't I
wanna
click it?
see me play
What the
Warframe or
fuck?
Other games and talk
What the fuck?
about video game news and all that good stuff. Outside of that, I'm gonna take off. Stay cool, stay righteous.
I mean, look, I'm trying to click it right now. What? Okay, I will subscribe to him though. Awesome video about the Warframe community and the
Warframe
Warframe
is
journey
a
at all. Yeah. Boom, subscribed. Like the video as well. Comment. Amazing video. Poggers. Yeah, I love this video. It reminded me of Skill Up's videos back in the day. Okay, let's play some Warframe. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out, chat. Peace out. If you want me to react to anything else, just comment it down below. And of course, the same thing as I did to him, subscribe as well. Maybe turn on the notification bell if you're inclined. We do a lot of stuff in the channel. We react to shit. We do some shorts. We play some video games. But yeah, peace out, chat. Bye bye.